Ever pondered the cost of distraction in your life? In this era of digital noise, distractions are as common as rain in London. They sneak into our lives, from the bleeps of social media to the whispers of procrastination, robbing us of our productivity and focus. Picture yourself, a gallant knight, battling these dragons of distraction. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But oh, the reality isn't far off. The true cost of distraction might be more than you think. Consider the story of Albert Einstein, a man of great intellect and achievement. Now, Einstein wasn't just a man who gave us the theory of relativity. He was also a master at overcoming the ever-lurking beast we know as distraction. In his early years, Einstein struggled academically not because he lacked the brains, but because his mind was always elsewhere, a classic case of distraction. But did he let that deter him? No, he didn't. Instead, he embraced his different way of thinking and used it to his advantage. Einstein was a firm believer in deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. He would often retreat into his own mind, a place where socks were deemed unnecessary and the outside world was but a distant hum. Yes, you heard it right. The man who reshaped our understanding of the universe had a quirky aversion to socks. He believed that they were too constraining, much like the distractions in our lives. He would often lose himself in his thoughts, sometimes for hours on end, to the point where time itself seemed to bend around him. It was during these moments of deep work that he developed his most groundbreaking theories. Now, Einstein wasn't born with an innate ability to focus. It was something he cultivated over time. He learned to control his mind, to steer it away from distractions, much like a seasoned sailor navigating through a storm. And just as a storm tests the mettle of a sailor, distractions test the mettle of our minds. Einstein once famously said, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." This statement epitomizes Einstein's approach to conquering distractions. He understood that the ability to focus was not about intelligence, but about perseverance and patience. So the next time you find yourself lost in a sea of distractions, remember Einstein. Remember his disdain for socks and his love for deep work. Remember his dedication and his unwavering perseverance. Einstein's genius wasn't only in his brain, but also in his ability to conquer distractions. It's not just about willpower, there's science behind distraction. You see, our brains are a bit like a mischievous child in a candy store, constantly reaching out for the shiniest, sweetest nuggets of information. This is largely due to our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that governs focus. When we're trying to concentrate, it's the prefrontal cortex that acts like a stern schoolmaster, trying to keep our thoughts in line. But here's the rub. Our brains also produce a chemical called dopamine, and dopamine loves novelty. It's like a little kid who gets excited every time he sees a new toy. This is why we find it so hard to resist clicking on that intriguing headline or watching just one more cat video. Yes, you've got it. Our brains are essentially cat video addicts. And it's not just the dopamine to blame. Our brains have evolved to prioritize immediate rewards and novelty. In the wild, this helped us survive. Immediate reward meant food and safety, while novelty could signal danger or opportunities. So, we're hardwired to be distracted. It's not just because we're lazy or lack willpower. Now imagine if our brains were like a gossip-loving granny, always eager for the latest juicy tidbit. Well, that's pretty much what's happening when we're scrolling through social media or eavesdropping on a conversation. Our brains can't resist the allure of new information, even if it's as insignificant as what our neighbor had for breakfast. But here's the good news. Understanding this, knowing that our brains are essentially dopamine-driven, novelty-loving, gossip-grabbing machines, can actually help us. It means we can develop strategies to manage these tendencies, to train our prefrontal cortex to be a more effective schoolmaster. So the next time you find yourself reaching for your phone when you should be studying or working, remember this. It's not just a lack of willpower, it's your brain being its natural, distractible self. And that's okay. It's a part of who we are. Understanding the science of distraction can be the first step to overcoming it. So how did Einstein do it, and how can we conquer our own distractions? Well, let's dive into some practical strategies. One such method is time blocking. It's a simple and elegant concept, really. Dedicate specific chunks of your day to specific tasks and stick to it. You know, like having a date with your work, but without the candlelit dinner and romantic music. Here's the catch, though. You have to be strict about it. It's not a casual fling, it's a committed relationship. Now, you might be thinking, but distractions are everywhere. True, they are. Like a pesky fly buzzing around your sandwich. But here's where our second strategy comes in. Creating a conducive environment. Make your workspace a fortress against distractions. Like Batman's Batcave, but instead of high-tech gadgets, you have an organized desk and a noise-cancelling headset. And what about training your focus? Yes, just like you train your muscles at the gym. No, you don't need to do mental push-ups or brain squats, but you can practice mindfulness and meditation. It's like yoga for the mind. Now, I can hear some of you asking, why not just move to a deserted island? Well, besides the obvious logistical hurdles and potential sunburn, remember that distractions aren't just external, they can also be internal. So unless you've mastered the art of emptying your mind completely, that deserted island might just be filled with your own thoughts vying for attention. Plus, the lack of Wi-Fi would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? In all seriousness, it's not about living in a bubble. It's about learning to manage distractions, not eliminate them completely. Because let's face it, distractions are a part of life. They're like that annoying relative who always shows up uninvited. You can't get rid of them, but you can learn to deal with them in a way that doesn't drive you up the wall. Remember, the key isn't to eliminate distractions completely, but to manage them effectively. Imagine what you could achieve with the power of focused attention. Picture your productivity skyrocketing, your learning deepening, your creativity blossoming. With your newly conquered attention, you could solve the mystery of cold fusion or even invent time travel. Don't worry, we're not actually expecting you to invent a flux capacitor, but who knows? Maybe with enough focus you'll figure out where all those missing socks in the washing machine have been disappearing to. So, next time you're about to lose yourself in a sea of distractions, remember Einstein and his socks.